All right, number 4, Tyler, the Creator.
Really? Okay.
Igor is on there. I had it higher up earlier, but I moved it to number 4. Flower Boy was another fantastic album for different reasons.
Right.
What I loved about Igor was that you tell that Tyler is aware of his Goblin years, but also was like, hey, I also did Flower Boy, so here's something that's like the best of both. He was able to combine both his craziness and his angstiness and everything that he was. Basically, he was Goblin. He was a Goblin. That kind of style of music have been blended now in with Flower Boy. I feel like it's kind of crazy to say, but it's like a coming of age for Tyler, is because he's realizing that he's super cool with who he is. He doesn't care about what happened in the past with him, and he's accepted a lot of things that he did in previous albums where, like, I feel like during Flower Boy, he kind of pushed that part of his life away, and he was really focusing on his Flower Boy effect. And because he definitely captured a very different audience. And yeah, I know I'm talking a little bit more about like him as a person than the music, but that's part of my thought process and how I layer him up. It's an album, again, like I want to listen to even more so. Great artist to see live, and I think it's another reason why I talk about his Goblin time is because when he does his live show now, he does obviously things from Igor and Flower Boy, but he does the older stuff too. The cool thing is you're getting this diversity of people, of fans, because you have the Goblin fans,
right?
But now you have the Flower Boy fans too, and they don't hate each other. They're mingling, they're happy together because now they have something like Igor to connect to.
Okay, so I am curious, and I'm not going to let you get away from this. Story, I totally get it, and I really appreciate that. It's a really interesting story about him trying to figure out who he is and who he likes. That's a nice thing about this is it's kind of vague in general because it is a breakup album, and he's also looking to potentially get back with somebody else, but it's never stated like...
We don't know.
Exactly who, what type. So at What's Good, after Puppet, where he's like, I'm your puppet, I don't care about how I am as long as I'm making you happy, knowing that like he's getting used. But then What's Good gets you back to kind of the stuff from Flower Boy and some of his earlier stuff where he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to be me. I appreciate a lot of that, and I appreciate the story that's going on.
Closing on with Are We Still Friends?
But musically, what makes this your 4th favorite album of the year?
I get it. It's because I feel like I hadn't heard something like this. I think it's because I didn't expect to have the Goblin and Flower Boy sounds blend together and work well because they're so different. You're putting something very aggressive against something very soft, and that's what surprised me is how he's able to make it work. The starting of the album, just a very drone hum sound, and then just breaking into a beat.
Right around time, we're gonna feel this. Yeah.
See?
It's okay. So no, don't get me wrong. I like this album, but it's kind of like the same thing with FK Twigs with me, where like so many people tell me that this is an incredible album, and it's good.
I do need to give it a run.
I like Flower Boy better, and I have a hard time musically really enjoying this album.
I understand because it seems a bit kind of scattered.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the whole story. It is a bit scattered because he's a bit scattered.
And I get that. It's not an album that I would go back to as much, but it still made my list. Just not as
there.
Not as high. All right.
Wait for the others.
Oh, God. So this one, again, could have easily been number 1. But number 4, we're going with Clipping with There Existed an Addiction to Blood.
I think you mentioned Clipping to me before. Yes, you have.
Yes,
this is you have.
For those of you who don't know, this is a hip-hop group whose main rapper is Daveed Diggs, who is, for those of you who don't know, has starred in some movies, but also he was the original Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And it took me a minute to realize that it was him. There's Club Down, which has singing on there, and I was like, this sounds really familiar. Like, why can't I place this?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up. It's like, holy shit, it's Thomas fucking Jefferson.
It's Thomas Jefferson.
And, I mean, like, Hamilton's not tame, but at least it's, like, kind of family-friendly at times. You know? This album is straight horrorcore. So, we're talking about, like, songs about people getting gunned down. There's songs about watching like one of these like red rooms, like these bad rooms on the internet where you just like stumble in and you're seeing someone getting tasered or stuff like that. There's
Those kinds of stories.
all these very twisted songs, but the imagery is incredible. His rapping is incredible, and there's just so many interesting production ideas. For example, Run For Your Life. What's really cool about this one is the song is about someone who is in Hollywood who had a bad trip, right? And he's running away from somebody who wants to kill him. You hear all the imagery of him trying to like hide in a dumpster and everything's going on around him. But the cool thing about it is in and out you hear the main melody. And it's getting interspersed throughout, say, a TV in a window or a passing of a car.
Interesting. It's almost like an interlude track that keeps showing up, but it's not an interlude.
Right. So like, but like the rapping's still going on, and you just hear like the beat, and it like comes in and then it fades out.
Ooh.
And then it doesn't finally go full on until the killer comes.
Oh wow. That's super cool.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of really cool ideas on this album. There's I want to say story 7. The song is in like, I think it's like, it's like 15/16. He's rapping in 15/16.
Because that's normal.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have Blood on the Ground, which is probably the most single-esque, and he raps just as fast as Eminem can, and he does phenomenal. And it's a song that's really relevant in the times we're talking about how in order to fight back against societal racism, you need to fight back rather than actually just letting someone dictate what's going on. The cool thing about this album is it takes ideas of cheesy horror movies and blaxploitation films and tries to take it into a current day and current day horror. So like taking example of one of the first songs, it's I believe people who are holed up in their hideout while the cops are coming to shoot them down. And in the way that they tell the story, it has this ominous vibe, kind of Friday the 13th, and it just keeps building and building until the end of it. There's another song that's talking from the perspective of the cops being like monsters and them looking back in their life like, how the hell did I get here? There's a really crazy one which could even be the best out of all of them. The idea of Daveed Diggs is the narrator, and he's talking about how crazy the actual mafia is. But at the same time, you have these other two rappers being interspersed in real time as they're like, oh, we're the best and we're the baddest and we can beat up anybody. And like they run into the mafia. And the mafia fucks them up. Afterwards, it pans back to Daveed Diggs, and he's talking about all these things that are going on to them. And then slowly you hear this like murmur, and eventually it just like drowns out his rapping. The atmosphere, the songwriting is incredible. The ideas are cool. The only reason why it's not number one, there's a 15-minute song at the end called Piano Burning, which is unfortunately literally a song about a piano on fire. And it's like it's a field recording. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, if you did not have that, you probably would have been number one.
Dang.
But it's just like, I'm sorry, but like after all of incredible album,
not worthy.
You can't end it on a 15-minute song about a piano burning.
Yeah. So besides that song, what I think is really great about that album, just from you telling it, is like, if people didn't know you were talking about a music album, they'd think you were talking about a movie.
Yeah.
And it's not a soundtrack. It's not a soundtrack for a movie. But that's what I think is so incredible about that kind of music and that kind of album.
It sets the tone so well. It builds a world, yes, but every song around it adds this eeriness. The first song is an intro song, which is on a phone. There's a guy walking in the woods, and you hear a phone recording of like Daveed Diggs rapping and talking about all the bad things that may or may not happen as you're walking outside. That sets the tone of everything going on.
Love it. I love it. I gotta listen to that one. Sounds like I need to listen to these like during the daytime, otherwise I'm gonna be like having nightmares.
And that's again number 4. Number 4.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3. Bon Iver. I guess I don't know how you would say it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Previous Bon Iver albums to me have been always a bit subpar. I guess this one stuck out to me because it gave me a little more oomph.
Okay.
I guess I got a little more oomph out of it than I got from the past albums. Like, it wasn't filled with features either, so it gave me a little more chance to get a little more of just him. And it reminds me of when I was still living in New York, and he was about to drop the album, and he was having a listening party, and a friend invited me to go. Friend didn't show up because it was pouring buckets,
right?
And I was sopping wet, waiting in line, and I ended up not even getting into the listening party, which bummed me out. Right. But the next day, he released the album to everybody. I was like, all right, so I can listen to the whole thing. And I connect the album to that scenario of me, like, friend doesn't show up, we're about to go meet, now it's pouring buckets.
Right, you're already gonna hate this album.
Yeah. But he pulled me in. There was something about it that really just connected to me, and that made me think that this album was different from his previous albums because it provided a little more pizzazz.
Okay, I agree there. Like, 22 Million I really enjoy.
Yep.
And I think I do still like 22 Million a little bit more, but I do really appreciate the culmination of everything, where it does have a lot of electrical ideas, a lot of indie electric, but there is a little bit more, I guess,
content or something.
That, but like, I want to say organic. It's not all just computer and
him being weird, like for the sake of being weird.
There's a lot of really beautiful songs.
You really get to hear more of his voice talking about mom. And
it's a good choice. That second to the last song on the album with the saxophone solo, absolutely crushing. And like, I didn't like the last song on the album at first, but after listening to it again, it flows. It flows better.
It flows.
Salem's a beautiful song. It kind of reminds me of like a Coldplay song at times.
A little bit, yeah. It's a good flow. But it's at the end of the day, it's still Bon Iver, so you're not going to be number one.
That's a good choice. That's a really good choice. Number 3, which I thought was going to be my number 1 for a very long time, Tool with Fear Inoculum.
I was waiting for it.
So, for, 14 years? 14, 15 years? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Dropped the album that we were all waiting for, and it was incredible. 77 minutes of just pure Tool mastery. And this time around, it's much more meditative. If you're not looking at the Spotify one, if you actually get the actual copy, it's 7 tracks, 77 minutes. Something like that, I want to say.
777.
The first song is a 10-minute song, and none of the songs other than the interludes is under 10 minutes. So, brace yourself. It's going to be a long album.
Yeah.
But
you're in for a ride.
The feelings, the mood that they set is absolutely incredible. The first time that I listened to it was like 2 a.m, just cleaning the bathroom because like, fuck it, I'm sure I need to stay up and do shit.
That's the album to play.
And like, it was so cool to listen to. And I've wavered a little bit on parts, but it's still an amazing album. Just the way that they build everything is phenomenal. Numa, it might be one of their best songs ever. There's some really interesting lyrical ideas. A lot of the themes of this album is dealing with trying to stay relevant and trying to continue bettering yourself through time, even though you know that one day your reign will end.
Great album for the time.
And I think that's something that Tool has been dealing with. Like, even though they have been popular, and their album was still, they hit number 1, which is incredible. It beat out Lana Del Rey a couple of weeks. But
maybe.
They also do know that even though they've been away and they still have great fans, it's not always going to be there. And a song like Invisible, which is about a warrior trying to continue fighting, even though he knows that one day he will lose. That's the same thing with Tool. There's a lot of great lyrics about dealing with that concept. And it's really cool that the idea of this whole entire album is it's supposed to be one whole song, just divided into 7 parts. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's one whole song, but each part is interesting. It builds a mood. And yes, some of them take a little bit long to get into, but once you get into them, the groove is phenomenal, and you forget about that you've had to wait a couple minutes for that.
Couple minutes.
Definitely worth the wait. Wish that you did a little bit less Pussifer albums, but definitely worth the time, and I hope that the next album's not 14 years again.
Yeah, I will say I am extremely impressed with just their staying power. And the fact that when this album came out, it was just massive. Absolutely massive. And the fact that they actually nailed it, because there's so many people out there who are gone for years and come back and be like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that they were able to actually pull something out of there.
You didn't like that new Black Keys album?
It sounds like everything else they put out.
That's fair.
It's good. It just sounds like
it's just
literally
good. Yeah.
everything else that they put out. It's like, you've been gone long enough. Come on, give me some maturity.
Racontaurus might be there too.
Yeah.
All right.
But I digress.
So we're into top
2
now.
This is all right. So these are interchangeable and they're extremely different.
Mm-hmm.
But like, take it as you will. These are the 2 albums that I listened to the absolute most this entire year or 2019.